3d6 down the line. Okay, episode 56 in the books. Great episode.
That was
Great
awesome.
job, guys.
Yes!
That was so tight.
I'm so pleased. So happy.
Yeah, that was epic.
That was like action packed. It was so tight. I was like everything just went. Just kept going. Loved it.
Well, it's something for everybody. People who like some action, people who like us can't, unable to decide what to do for 20 minutes. We got everybody covered.
Yep, exactly.
People who like the voice of Gobliano.
Yes, I mean, who doesn't like that? And Charlton's
Great voice.
I think at this point, though, guys, we can probably cross Beastmen off our list of potential allies.
Yeah.
we kind of gotten in, but dude, we're going to score major points with the goblins by bringing back this like lost patrol and potentially bringing a forever water source to them. I mean, I would love to keep that for ourselves, but it might be a really fitting gift for a king.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and this is. I think it's an interesting thing to explore here in our detox, which is, as you guys know, in the Discord, I was saying like, I don't really care about the goblins. They're not that interesting. I think the beastmen are much more interesting, and I stand by that. But like it's not going to work out, and it's an interesting thing to me that like in a mega dungeon or really anywhere, there's different things, different encounters, different options you have, and some of them are sort of really appealing and they just never pan out, and like I think the beastmen have like a way more fascinating setup, with their possible ancient legionary origins and whatever mother is, and like I feel like it's a much richer story there, but it's a closed book to us now without a lot of extra work. Probably I
was gonna say this is not necessarily right. The bridge has not been burned completely. Right.
Yeah.
The hostility was shown because you were in the presence of goblins. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that you can rectify the situation, but it all depends on how you approach it,
And it's funny, like I've been thinking about this almost like, dungeon faction Plinko, right? Like we enter in and start doing stuff, and whatever happens, we accidentally like score points with this faction or with that faction, without us really knowing that we're doing it. Like we did not, go down and mess with the halflings because we wanted to gain favor with the goblins. That was just accidental, right?
Yeah.
But we accidentally got kind of, a big bonus with those guys. Like we handed them something, and whether or not we think that they're the most interesting faction, we accidentally, our little Plinko pellet landed in their lap, right?
Yeah.
We keep on delivering for them, right? Like, I mean, first we deliver the halfling area to them, then we deliver like their lost patrol to them, then we deliver a possibly powerful magic item if we decide to give it to them. I don't know. I'm very much on the fence about that. But if we become like their weapons like providers and all the rest of that shit, like it just feels like it's stacking like blocks to get in with those guys. I still think they're untrustworthy, which is my big concern.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, nobody in the dungeon that we've come across is going to be trustworthy. They all have their own best interests at heart.
Right.
Well, it's fair. I mean, everybody does, right? But sometimes it's in your best interest to be trustworthy, and I don't think we've found anyone like that.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I feel like one of the appeal of the beastmen for you might be that it seems like they might be honorable people.
That is what I was hoping, that they would exhibit true honor. I'm a little worried about the whole mother thing, like might override their natural legionary honor, but that is my feeling, is that we could treat with them in good faith and be treated in kind. You just never know with the goblins. But Matt, I love your Plinko analogy, and I think it extends beyond our factions. Literally everything we've done in every episode of the game of Plinko, it's just totally random.
Yeah, but this is like you're reaching that point. Well, not necessarily in like mechanical power level, but the presence of the AV Club, the influence they made, like you can start pulling strings, or like this is a good opportunity for you to start manipulating things on your own, right?
Yeah.
But I was re-listening to the previous episode of Team A where you talked to Sir Simina, and the information he gave you on the Beastmen, which was a result of your actions, Mort, for really telling him some of the info on Priscus. And you had no reason to believe that Sir Simonet's lying. It told you that those Beastmen were precisely what they were, and that they could be treated with, all that kind of stuff. You also have to kind of understand too how much you've actually interacted with them, right? How much of their territory did you actually trespass, right? And both of them were under periods of extreme duress, right? Like you came in and like the gargoyles were attacking, so it looked like they were going to come and speak to you, and then the gargoyles were attacking, right? And they had to deal with that immediate threat, and you booked it, right?
Right.
And it appears too that the barricade that you just crossed was what they've determined is the barrier, at least one of the barriers between their land and the halflings' land.
Yeah,
right.
They've set that up as a, no further, you goblins. This is our land.
Right. Halflings at first, and then the goblins. Right. So the question is, but for a fact that the Great Hall was also a place where battle had been fought previously, either with goblins or halflings. So that was
Settites, if they're in those vicinities too, right?
Or the Settites, yeah, correct, yeah. So that appears to be some sort of no man's land. So what I'm saying is, my summation is basically that don't feel that you need to walk away totally from the Beastmen. If you want to interact, you can go back and possibly explain yourself. You haven't invaded their land or anything like that.
My point was that, as Matt says, we've plinkoed into kind of goblin after goblin after goblin scenario where we've built points and we have a lot of ins with the goblins. To build up that much with the Beastmen is going to take time. That honestly, we're probably better off spent with the goblins, and even though I think the Beastmen are more cool.
Yeah, but that was David's argument. Is you've already got the in with the goblins, so you might as well lean into it. Yeah,
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, one of the requests of the goblins that we've, received so far is that we deal with the Beastmen, right? That doesn't necessarily mean we go kill all of them, but if we can negotiate some kind of peace or state, right? It doesn't necessarily mean go kill them all. Like, yeah, okay, we'll go talk to them. We approach this barricade. We wave a flag of truce and parley, to come talk to them. If they truly are, and we have the name right to bring up, we seek to parley with. I forgot the guy's name, but it was the Sir Simonet gave it to us, right?
I've got it here.
Beastman.
The Count
name
Count
to drop.
Scleros,
Right.
Yeah.
And if we just say, hey, we want to talk to them, we want to negotiate some kind of peace or something, we can find out what they want. Maybe peace is impossible. Maybe they can. But it's an avenue to still get to this interesting stuff and find stuff out, right?
Totally. That's why it's so important. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's why it's important to go talk to the king of the goblins, right? To go talk to Count Scleros. Like, you need to find out who the movers and shakers of these factions, what they actually want.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take what Bottleneck is fucking telling you as truth, right? Like, he's low on the totem pole, man. Like he even has he's got Killick, and then you got to get to the king, right? So, yeah.
I was just going to say, though, I love that idea, Matt, of trying to negotiate with the Beastmen. And I was kind of thinking that a little bit earlier in the session. My only concern is and obviously we're getting this from Bottleneck, the only thing that we've gotten so far is that they just want to expand. So it might be real hard to convince them to leave the Beastmen alone, unless there is some sort of maybe benefit to them teaming up to go take on like the Settites. Like, the Beastmen might have somebody they hate more than goblins. That would be the way that we would get in with that. But they also have to be okay with the goblins taking over every square inch of Arden Vool that's not like nailed down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking to this is, David said this 10,000 times. Information is the real currency in this dungeon, right? It's the real treasure. That's what we need. And talking to these guys, right? We have a way to do that. We can go down this hall. We have, names to drop that was, garnered through the sharing of information, right? We're engaging in, information as power, and that instead of, chucking swords and arrows, right? Like maybe that analogy of y'all traipsing through the arrow slits, which I've been waiting to do since I got the chance to play y'all, by the way.
That's sweet.
And was awesome.
That was so cool.
But like the analogy of that is like, weapons are nothing if, in comparison to the knowledge that we can gain.
See, I will make one side point to that the real treasure of Arden Pool is treasure. I still think that's very true.
Can't deny that.
Knowledge to be a part of treasure.
Bags of gold
Right.
is how goblins retire in mansions in Gosterwick.
When it comes down to it, not a single one of my 3 PCs is here to just gain knowledge. They're here to get wealth and power and all the rest of that stuff. And 80,000 gold, to go back to the Codswallop situation, is a lot of it's a lot of whatever you want to use it for. It's a lot of weapons for the goblins. It's a lot of food for the beastmen. It's a lot of buying off of the dragon. It's a lot of like building a keep right next to Estelle's place that we can just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there, yes, knowledge is power, but power is power, right? And I don't know if I'm not quite so materialistic as David.
Well, I think we can.
Money.
Yeah.
End of story.
That brings up a good point. I'm curious. Like Niall's carrying a little bit of treasure back with him. He's got like 2 of those bottles of the ancient brandy. What else is it? And he's got the gold rod, but I guess we've already got the XP value of that. What kind of treasure are you guys carrying?
Carrying fuck off. Nothing.
Mort has a few potions, some garnet and jade figurines, some rings, and then 323 gold pieces worth of ancient coins.
Okay.
So, probably all told 700 or 800 gold pieces worth of stuff, I think is what it would work out to be.
Okay. Good.
So, not 80,000 gold, but not chump change, enough to go out drinking pretty heavily.
Especially not for Darius, right?
And Darius has been with you guys for like literally a hot minute. Like I think it's been not even a day. Like we had the one camp out in the stairwell down in the turtle area.
You form such strong bonds. It's like you've been together forever.
Yeah, strong bonds. But I'm just like, it's like literally he's just like, that was exciting.
You guys are cool.
Wait, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the cool thing is having that assassin's advancement tables. I'm 2nd level now. John told me like last time Team A played that I would be 3rd as soon as I like hit the sack.
Yep.
Now my question becomes is if we are in a safe area by 2:30 in the afternoon, can we take a long rest before we get to the Codswallop plot?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get my cloak thing back. I'll get hit points. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like
dab the old Codswallop.
Avaricios might get spells, which would be amazing.
What do you mean might get spells? He would totally do that. Like Avaricios is down to, book it if we need to, but there's that benefit, right? Like if he rests, we have all kinds of stuff at our disposal.
Well, and we also get to put together a decent team versus the Codswallop thing. Like I think John already said, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but we can only take 1 PC each. So we're not running like 15 dudes over there.
Right.
But the cool thing is we have at least 1 retainer in Samantha, and we'll have 4 PCs that are not like on death's door and completely like combat non-effective.
Well, I think we were talking too about possibly reverting the ones that were retainers back to retainers, right? So like Yost and y'all and stuff like so, but that actually might be a good thing for you because you could then take them with you.
That would be a good thing.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, here's the thing I liked about making them all sort of various types of PCs and we kind of exchange them out is that Codswallop was a retainer and look what he did to us, right? Like if Yost is a PC now and we say, okay, Yost is going to stay here and guard our safe haven, then that's what Yost does. And it's not a morale check, like, I'm tired of waiting around. I'm going to fucking become a rogue retainer and steal all your
Shut
money.
your whore mouth. Yost would never turn on us.
Bad example, Ted.
Fine.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
We would go from like a Patreon of like, a Discord of like 600 people to 3.
Everyone leave us in droves.
They left Yost.
Yeah. So true.
Anyway,
Yost is a good guy. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah, but as far as like using your money to like construct strongholds and all that kind of stuff is definitely like a thing that you guys want to be thinking about and all that kind of stuff, or utilizing it to gain favor and all that kind of stuff. But as Matt and David and I have said, the if you don't gird yourself with as much knowledge as possible, that will all be for naught, because that amount of money paints you as a target, which is what you've already seen, right? And you are starting to gain more knowledge of how things sort of work underground, but you are still in a lot of ignorance. And if you start planting your what am I trying to say? Like a foothold here, like a real established sort of presence. That's going to draw their presence. That's going to draw the attention of some people who are probably not going to be too keen on upstarts, especially ones that are building strongholds at like first and second level. Yeah. So I'm just saying that it's both are completely valid, and goals to achieve power and wealth and knowledge go hand in hand.
Well, one thing I should point out is it hasn't been that many days game time since you told us there were basically no stonemasons available for building towers and forts.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even hire anybody to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Yeah. But once again,
we can't hire anyone from Gosterwick, Ted. That doesn't mean that we can't go down to Sets Market and find like a bunch of stonemasons or whatever down there. And I'm not talking about building a freaking keep right next to Estelle's. That was a joke. But I mean, if we get a safe space, a safe haven in the dungeon somewhere, absolutely we can build a couple walls and a couple like iron doors and a couple arrow slits and stuff like that. Yeah. The one thing I just want to say on the part of knowledge is, do we have anyone that speaks Mythic now? Or have we just been comically rolling bad for intelligence? Brother Lothar speaks Mythic. That's it.
I think Opior does, doesn't Opior?
I don't think so, dude.
Might. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think David did that thing where he plays a magic user with like a 6 intelligence just to prove that he can do.
No, he has at least average intelligence with both of them, but I don't know if he's hit the 13 mark where he would be able to get an extra language. He would obviously do it if he could. But
we still have the book that Codswallop was supposed to be studying to learn Mythic.
Right.
Someone, needs a couple weeks of downtime to read it, and we'll learn Mythic.
Yeah.
Well, if we have a stable of characters, we can do that. Right?
Exactly. And you shouldn't discount the fact too, like time pressure has always been on, but it's okay. I mean, not okay, but you taking time out to just do like a massive amount of downtime, like you had done earlier with learning the scrolls and items and stuff like that. That's still an option. You just have to be willing to be okay with the fact that things will change and adjust in the dungeon. But as we said before, that's okay. Like things will still be fun, right? It's just things will be different. That's all.
Right.
Honestly, guys, one of the things that I think is a new kind of clock ticking for us, not because of the worry about things changing in the dungeon, but just the value of it. Remember that letter that we got, right? That is going to be so valuable down in Gosterwick. I mean, that thing.
Treasure tracker.
Right, that thing is just huge. This was the letter that we recovered from the wreckage of blah 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 from that guy. But that's going to be huge. I mean, it's a game changer. It ties in. Right?
Yeah,
exactly right. And we think about the little pieces that we have. We have that. We have a line, not necessarily like the answer, but at least a line on the relics. What are they called? The
regalia.
The regalia. Thank you. All this stuff is just like they're in line, right?
That's good.
And I worry about not the timing aspect, but until we get that message out of our hands, it's in jeopardy, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
any of us could be, dissolved in an acid trap or whatever, and then that thing's gone. So it's like time pressure for the potential loss of the thing rather than like, people, after us or whatever.
I do think that if I had to prioritize like the shit that we got to get done, Codswallop to me is number one. And then that is a hard number two. Like that's the very next thing I think we need to tackle is that. But that will also go along with the fact that we probably need a little bit of downtime in Gosterwick to get some other things caught up. Yeah.
First of all, Mike, you just said a hard number two, which, okay. The 14-year-old in me just giggled.
Can't pass that by.
Speaking of anal wreckage.
Hard number two.
Darius, I was just looking at the treasure tracker. You've actually got quite a bit of treasure on you. Did you put it on your character sheet? Because the treasure tracker says you're carrying like more than 500 gold pieces worth of stuff.
Really?
You got a platinum band and a bunch of solidite.
Oh yeah. I just saw one thing on my character sheet just says 16 gold coins, and I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Mike doesn't write stuff on character sheets, Ted. Come on.
It's all recall.
I just forget shit like cool people.
It's all up here.
The one big time pressure element as far as prioritizing stuff though is the King Weskinum's patience, right?
So maybe that's our hard number two.
Hey.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, we have 2 reasons now to go to Gosterwick, and I'm not saying that we do that ahead of him, but if we go, and once we talk to him and find out what he wants and make sure that we align the way that we think we do, we can go down to Gosterwick not only for the downtime, like you mentioned, Mike, but to, secure a shipment of weapons up. We go down there and we say, hey, we're starting a new mercenary company and we want to be prepared. So we're shipping some weapons up top. Right. Yeah. And after we have that, conversation with Lady Alexia, then she's gonna love us, and she's like, sure, you need to bring a few weapons up there. Go ahead, man.
You need to really think about like the sky's the limit with Lady Alexia. Like you guys need to have a conversation about what that note can actually bring you. Because oh my God, you know what I mean? Like once again, you play your cards right. You could be very clever with what you do, and get a real edge. So you should definitely start thinking about those kind of things. But if you want to solidify the Goblin Alliance, then you need to move on that. I've been pretty clear about that. If you want to do that,
that makes sense. And I would almost make the argument too that after rescuing the Lost Patrol, maybe we bought ourselves a little extra street cred with them or a little extra time. I don't know.
It's not going to hurt. That is for sure. Yep.
Yeah. I think going down to the King while the iron is striking while the iron is hot with that is going to be super, super important. You know what storyline I'm okay with us kind of leaving behind right now? We totally forgot about Garrelad and the monkey paws. It's like we were so intent on getting down there and jacking his shit up. But then we looted his library for like all the good shit anyway. So it's like, I'm kind of like, what else is Garrelad sitting on that we really need?
Did you?
No, I know. There's always more, man. I mean, he's got the giant ruby throne, which could be another 80,000 gold, albatross around our neck. But on the flip side, I no longer feel that pressure anymore.
Yeah. That's totally fair. And it's good, Mike, that you recall the fact that is an open end. Because I'm taking notes. There is a timeline of events, but yeah, you're absolutely right that it's totally fair to have that as a lower priority. But things are in motion.
And make no doubt about it, Avaricios hates that guy. He really enjoyed having his right hand.
It
was one of his top 2 hands.
Absolutely,
and
top 2 hands. Yeah.
That guy's a dick, and he's got to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I gotta go.
So
I'm done.
So do the rest of us. So I'm going to get to editing. So